Since the chip ban imposed by the United States, Huawei has developed many core technologies and used them in smartphone products. From the Mate 50 series, it can be seen that from the screen to the operating system, to the image, etc., almost all of them are independently developed by Huawei. It's just that it doesn't support 5G networks, which is inevitably a bit of a pity. However, there is news that Huawei will redesign its smartphone and plans to launch a 5G-enabled model next year. What does this message indicate? What are the ways for Huawei to return to 5G networks? Foreign media say Huawei plans to launch 5G mobile phones next year. It is common for mobile phones to support 5G networks in the market. Most manufacturers can easily obtain the necessary supply of baseband, radio frequency, and other chip components, and the development of 5G networks and hardware adaptation can also be carried out normally. Originally, Huawei can do all this, and even better with the world's leading 5G technology. It's just that everyone knows about Huawei's 5G situation, and Huawei has been working hard to solve the problem. In any case, Huawei's mobile phone business will continue to develop. Even if it sells 4G mobile phones, it will still be recognized by consumers. Just like the Mate 50 is selling well in the market, every time it goes on sale, it will be sold out in seconds, which is enough to prove Huawei's strength in product building and the love of many Huawei fans for Huawei products. However, what Huawei pursues is not only to sell products, but also to improve product quality and bring consumers a flagship high-end consumer experience. So for the 5G network, Huawei always keeps moving forward. The United States can no longer stop Huawei's development. Huawei has new news. Some foreign media said that Huawei will redesign its smartphones and plans to launch 5G mobile phones as soon as next year. If the foreign media news is true, it means that the localization of chips has gone further. Because if the mobile phone wants to return to the 5G network, it must not have too much connection with American technology, otherwise, with the temperament of the United States, most of the moths will occur again. Then the only way to go is to take the localization route. The main reason why Huawei mobile phones cannot use 5G is the radio frequency chip. Although the chipset of Huawei mobile phone supports 5G function, but without the support of the radio frequency module, it is impossible for the mobile phone to use the 5G network. If Huawei launches mobile phones that support 5G networks, it is likely that domestic RF chips have made progress. At present, as far as I know, the radio frequency chip and the baseband chip are the two important modules of the mobile phone to ensure communication. The radio frequency chip is responsible for receiving signals. When the mobile phone is making calls and sending text messages, it needs to convert these information into high-frequency radio waves, and then let the other party's mobile phone receive and restore. This process requires the use of a radio frequency chip, which is composed of radio frequency switches, filters, power amplifiers, duplexers, and other components. The lack of any of them will make the radio frequency chip unusable. As for the baseband chip, it decodes the information received by the radio frequency chip, so that the user can accurately receive the information and complete the communication. If the radio frequency chip is to allow the mobile phone to hear the sound of the outside world. Then the baseband chip is responsible for understanding and assumes the role of translation. Huawei has self-developed baseband chips, but it needs to rely on procurement for RF chips. In the past, it has always relied on the procurement of radio frequency from foreign suppliers, only because foreign suppliers have a high market share in this part and master a large number of core technologies. And there is also the United States behind these technologies. So according to the requirements of the United States, suppliers using American technology cannot ship products at will unless they obtain a license. Since it is impossible to rely on import procurement, it can only find another way out. The main way Huawei will return to 5G networks. Huawei fans are all looking forward to Huawei's return to the 5G network as soon as possible. Only mobile phones that support the 5G network can keep up with the trend of the times. Although the 5G era has not yet fully arrived, and there are no phenomenal 5G application products, the network speed experience brought by 5G mobile phones is always different from 4G. So what are the main ways for Huawei to return to 5G networks? In fact, there are still methods. The first is to use the 5G communication shell. The 5G mobile phone case is the easiest and most direct way for Huawei to return to the 5G network. There are already 5G communication cases on the market that are compatible with the Huawei Mate 50 series. After using this product, the 4G mobile phone becomes a 5G mobile phone in seconds. The use method is also very simple. Put it on the back of the mobile phone, and then follow the operation instructions to make the correct settings, and ensure that it is within the coverage of the 5G base station signal, and then you can use the 5G network. Next, change the shell and rebirth, and choose Huawei Smart Products. Huawei's mobile phone products cannot normally purchase RF chips, but third-party cooperative manufacturers are not subject to any restrictions. Under such circumstances, Huawei's smart sales channels have extended to third-party partners, such as TD Tech and China Post. They purchase the design of Huawei series models, and there are mobile phones that are benchmarked against Nova 9, P50 series and Mate 40 series, and even Mate 50 may launch benchmarking products in the future. Except for the different brand names, other configurations and appearances are not much different. In this way of rebirth, you may also be able to experience the capabilities of Huawei's 5G network in disguise. In addition, we can also start from the industrial chain to solve the core technical problems of RF chips. Let domestic products replace foreign products, and solve the problem from the root cause. Huawei has never given up on the development of smartphones, and will keep moving forward no matter what it encounters. Not only for consumers, but also for Hongmeng's system to have a terminal carrying platform for sustainable development. If Huawei's launch of 5G smartphones next year is based on domestic RF chips, it means that the localization of chips will go further, and we will see the performance of the time. What do you think about this? Feel free to share in the comments below.